Hello. This is going to be a quick one. I wanted to go ahead and get this video out because I didn't feel like doing edits on it, which I filmed this video already, but I didn't feel like going through all of that. So this is going to probably be a little 10-minute live, so you may want to hold your comments for the comment box. Today we are going to be continuing our soul contract series where we are talking about the difference between an enemy and someone that just doesn't like you. Because when people think of soulmates, karmics, twin flames, they often think of romantic situations, scenarios, and experiences, including family members, friends, lovers, husbands, wives, children, etc. But did you know that some of your enemies can be your soulmates as well? Or if they're not your soulmate or twin flame or karmic, they can be some way, somehow in your soul group. Well, hi Charlie Vega, how are you? Peace and bliss to you, my darling. So, hello, Meduya. I hope I said your name correctly, Iveo. Hello, beautiful darling, how are you? So yes, we're going to quickly, like for the next 10 minutes, be talking about the difference between a soul level enemy and somebody that just doesn't vibe with you. Now, a lot of people think, oh, they take it personal if someone doesn't like them. But if you've looked at my other videos, you realize it's not possible for everyone to like us. It's just a mixture of alchemies. Hello, I'm the magician. You made it. Yay. Different synastry in our charts leads to incompatibility and things like that. But what is the difference between someone we're not compatible with and someone who's just a downright hater or enemy? I'm going to be working from my notes the way I always do, and that's how we're going to do this thing for the next 10 minutes. Number one, an enemy, if they're a possible soulmate in your soul group, they take an unhealthy, obsessive interest in you. Have you ever had conflict with someone on social media and you block them, but they find some type of way to make a spy account? They may heckle you, they may be your trolls. Different people like that, they take an unhealthy interest in you. They take the time out to seek you. They want to know what you're doing, what you're up to. They often wish bad on you. They don't want you to be successful, and they're worried about you. They could have anxiety over you, sleepless nights. I do these readings a lot of times. Hello, Brian Davis. How are you? Thank you. It has been a minute, but I have new videos up. Pardon me for interrupting the stream of consciousness as I speak. But an enemy, a true enemy, with them often being someone that we've known in other lives, with them being someone we've known in other lives, we often carry past life conflict and past life beef over into this life, because a lot of people don't understand, as above so below. Spirits and ancestors, they can war in the spirit realm as well. You know how in the Christian thought they say we fight not against flesh and blood, with principalities, etc., etc. A lot of times our conflict with other human beings is past life conflict and is soul level conflict. A lot of times this is written in our soul contract to have conflict with them for our evolution in some type of way. So sometimes our greatest betrayals can be our greatest rewards. Ask me how I know about that, honey. Well, anyway, your karmic, you know how I always say, if you're watching a movie, it always has a plot twist. You're going to have your villain, you're going to have your protagonist, your antagonist. And remember, we're souls. It's like we're casted in a movie in our incarnation. So we have to have an antagonist, don't we? Does anyone go throughout life and doesn't have at least somebody that doesn't like us or makes it difficult for us? Have you seen any Orisha? What do you mean, like in my dreams? Like what type of way, Trills Chameleonaire? Yes, I definitely have seen Orishas. If you want to put it like, if you want to put physical eyesight, no, not physical eyesight. That's what the third eye for, that melanin, pineal gland. But we'll get into that in a different video so I can stay on topic. So your enemy takes an obsessive, unhealthy interest in you and what you're up to and not wishing you well. Whereas someone who really just doesn't like you. Hi, Keisha. How are you? Welcome, welcome. Someone that just doesn't like you, they're not going to be trying to stalk you and figure out what you're doing, go get a tarot reading and see what you're doing. They don't care one way or the other. Can you imagine disagreeing with somebody who doesn't believe in what you believe in and you sitting up there stalking them? Like, say for instance, if you disagree with people on, policies about abortion, politics, who should be president, race, religion, gender, culture, etc. Can you imagine yourself wasting time out of your busy day to go see what they're up to? Probably not. An enemy is often people who we used to love, used to be friends with, or we used to be associated. We used to love the same person. So we often have a lot in common with our enemies. Maybe they have the same hobbies as us, the same interests, and they may see us as competition as well. But once again, this usually goes into soul group conflict, because yes, you can have conflict with your soulmates and in your soul group. And I want to talk really quick about past life regression. This is going to sound crazy to some people, but this is a spiritual channel, so I'm going to take the liberty to talk about it anyway. I have, without incriminating anybody, I have a cousin that is, she's very, this video has so much synchronicity for me, I have a cousin that is very, she's feminine, but she has a lot of masculine energy. And I remember when we were younger, she's well, let me not say too much. She's older than me. And I wanted her to like me so bad, but for some reason, this girl just did not like me. I could not get her to like me. At those times, I cared about what people think when I was a little girl. And I would ask her, why don't you like me? And this and that, you know. So going throughout life, no matter what happened, as we grew up and got older, that never really changed. It kind of smoothed out a little bit with maturity, but there was always this side eye coming from her. So one time I scheduled a past life regression with a hypnotist, and I went into deep meditation with my past life regression, and I discovered, because I've had this pain in my lower back area for a long time. I've gotten rid of it now. But at that time period, it was like 2013, I had lots of pain in my lower back area. So I did a past life regression thing. They were going to be talking about my love life and was I a Queen Cleopatra in a past life? And none of that came up, honey. What came up was I went into a past life and I saw myself. And this cousin that I have in this life was actually my brother in a past life. So she wasn't even female in that life. And she was older than me, and we shared the same parent, but we didn't have the same mother. And what happened was my father was going to give me an inheritance that he or she in this lifetime thought that they should be entitled to, because they were older and they didn't get it. So this cousin, who was my brother in that past lifetime, actually plotted. We were walking down the way with a group of us. It was an entourage, and had me stabbed. The brother in that lifetime, which is my cousin, didn't do the stabbing. He set it up to where I got stabbed right where I'm having pain at, where I was having pain in this lifetime, as crazy as this sounds. So when I tell you that's a very ancient time period, I'm not going to go into era or things like that. I felt my body right where I have the pain in my back. That's exactly where they stabbed me, and they left me in the bushes to die. That true story. I kid you not. I'm not high or anything like that. That's what came up in my past life regression. I'm expecting a lover to come up, but this conflict with this cousin came up. Wow, past life regressions are a beautiful thing. Yes, they are so beautiful, and they are so real. So anyway, it made me better understand, like, dang, why do we have conflict in this life? What does she have against me? Like, I've never done anything to her. Have you ever had those people where I've never done anything wrong to you? I've never wished bad on you. I've never stolen a lover from you, anything like that. But it's just still that conflict and that friction, and it can't be explained. It can help you deal with your karma in this life. Absolutely, Keisha. But it helped me understand not to take it personal, and to understand deeper level soul conflict and the things I still need to work on within myself, acceptance and things like that. So it helped me work through that. It was a great teacher to me. So I bring this up to say, your enemies, once again, if they're not in your soul group, or they're not a soul mate, or you don't carry karmic past life baggage, they can be somebody who can you do past life regression? I'm in Atlanta. I don't do it myself. I can refer you to a hypnotist, but that hypnotist is in Houston, Texas, and she's excellent. But she has group past life regressions if you're willing to travel to Houston, Texas. So anyway, somebody that just doesn't like you, they're not going to stalk your social media. And a lot of times you can look in your astrological chart, your natal chart, and figure out who your enemies are going to be. Because some people, I'll do their astrological chart for them, and it'll come up that they are destined to live with somebody that they actually hate, that they grow to hate, that ends up bullying them. And that's something that their soul wanted to go through for the progress. Not saying that we all choose difficult lessons like that, but a lot of times it will come up, especially in our Mars chart, our natal chart, etc. You can find clues of that in the North Node and placements like that if you get a synastry chart done. So once again, your enemy spends a lot of time hoping you don't do well. They may have evil eyes on you. It's like they don't like you, but they can't stop watching you. So that is a strong indication of some type of soul karmic energy that has to be worked out. Looking for my notes. So they wish bad on you, whether justified or unjustified. Sometimes our enemies feel like they're justified in how they feel about us. You know, they may feel like you did them wrong, or they may feel like if you're successful or whatever you're doing in your life, if they're not involved with it or they're not your friend anymore, then they feel like you shouldn't be happy unless they're in your life. So you will get people like that, but understand this is all karmic soul level energy. We can't take the time to hate somebody when we understand that we are one with all things. And even our enemies help us to evolve in some level, some type of way, no matter how painful those lessons can be. Once again, I reiterate, an enemy is often someone that used to love you, thinks they love you, or is connected to someone that you used to love or that used to love you. So if you have a twin flame of relationship with somebody and it broke off, maybe they have a karmic and that karmic doesn't like you. All of those type of dynamics can come into play in relationships. Especially, you will find clues of this in your soul group when you're in elementary school and you have a best friend, and then they get a new best friend, the new kid comes to school, and then there's conflict between you and that person. A lot of times that's soul level conflict. It doesn't wait until we become adults. It happens young. Even of the type of parents that we choose, if we have some type of abusive relationship or toxic relationship with our parents or a step parent, you know, the evil, wicked stepmother, all of those type of people, the abusive stepfather, molestation, all of those things come up in our soul contract and in our soul energy. And it will indicate some type of conflict that we have brought over into this life. The difference between an enemy and somebody that doesn't like you. Let's see. I talked about this already. Give me just 1 second. So, also, when we talk about loved ones, hello, dear. I didn't see the name. Was that Brian? So anyway, you can have people that love you and they're not mad at you. They do wish you well. They do want the best for you, but they can be an accidental enemy. Have you ever had a family member, such as maybe your mom, your dad, and they feel like you're not going the right way? I don't like you practicing that African spirituality. I don't want you with that person, this or that, this and that. I don't want you to move to Iowa because who's going to take care of me if you go to Iowa? I don't want you to get bigger than me. I don't want you to be on my level because you might leave me. Sometimes people who love us the most want to hold on so tightly to us that they become our enemy, even though they don't intend to be our enemy. They're not wishing us bad. They just want to have some type of control and some type of participation in our success in our life. And they can be an accidental enemy. Say, for instance, if you confide in a friend and you tell them a secret and they accidentally go and they go tell somebody else and you told them, please don't tell anybody this. That's the same thing as a malicious enemy, even though the intent was not malicious. You can also get those family members, you know, you can't tell them too much because their mouth it just runs, and it's almost like an enemy, even though it's not on purpose. This is also soul level energy. Did you know the spirit of talking too much is also something that comes from ancestral realms too? So they say, like, if your mom has a big mouth or your dad has a big mouth or there's a group of gossipers, often that's soul level energy. So that's often things we have to work on, keeping secrets and doing things like that, because you know how Bob Marley says, only your friends know your secrets, so only he could reveal it. Who the cap fit, let them wear it. So the enemies are also people that are usually close to us. We've told them our secrets. They know the bad parts of our character that we have yet to work on or that we used to deal with, but we've overcome it. They know that. So they feel like they have some type of edge if they don't talk to you anymore. If you all start talking to one another, then they have access to your secrets, whether it's someone across the street who, you know, you don't mutually like each other, you haven't told them anything. Because once again, a person has to get close enough to you to stab you in your back. Where somebody who tells you up front, I just don't favor you, you're not going to let them close enough. Makes a lot of sense to what I'm going through in my life. Ashe. You're not going to let them close enough to stab you in your back. But those who are close to you, who are rubbing your back today, massaging your back today, can be the same ones that stab you in your back tomorrow. So you have to be careful what you tell. And once again, on the soul level, who is the greatest enemy that we could have? You know how in the Risha tradition, we say your best friend could be your worst enemy. The one in the mirror. We can also be our own worst enemy. in the form of self-sabotage, not taking care of our health, not living out our soul contract, being around people who are not good for us. That's a form of betrayal. Betrayal of self is the highest betrayal. Compromising what you believe and what gives you joy and peace to be with somebody or deal with somebody that is not for your highest good. That is a form of betrayal. So that is how we become our own soul enemy. Let's see what else, because I'm almost done. We're at 14 minutes now. Once again, someone who just doesn't like you, they're not going to be interested in you one way or the other. They're not going to stop to see what you're doing. You're not going to have the same values, same interests, or anything like that. They're not going to want to follow you or anything. They won't take the time to see what you're up to on social media. They won't be asking about you. If someone's gossiping about you, they won't care one way or the other. They may just giggle it off, and that's the end of the story. Let's see. Their feelings will be neutral for you. Someone that just doesn't like you, they could have been an enemy, because an enemy can change to someone who just doesn't like you. Like, say, for instance, you betrayed somebody in your past, or they betrayed you, but you have finally really, truly forgiven them, and you don't feel that animosity to where you wish bad on them. And you just don't like them. You're like, okay, I forgive you, but I don't fool with you anymore. That doesn't mean you're wishing them evil or ill. Doesn't mean you're going to be watching them. You're not going to be interested in them anymore. It's like they don't exist. So someone that doesn't like you, they're in the state of neutrality, to where they're not bothered with you. They have forgiven you, or you have forgiven them, etc., etc. It's a state of neutrality. Once again, soul enemies can become just people who are neutral, and that is what you want to strive for. And if you are feeling animosity, hatred, or you wishing bad on somebody that has done you wrong, you're still in that enemy energy. And when you're in that energy, it's almost like you will attract that same energy to you. I had to work through a lot of that, a lot of bitterness from some betrayals that happened from, someone that I trusted dearly. I had to work through, a lot of bitterness with that. So as you work through that and you become more neutral, your vibration raises. I know that sounds so cliche in the year 2019, raising your vibrations and all of that, but it really is true. You will feel so much lighter and less burdened when you go to a state of neutrality. And I want you all to know, it's okay not to like everybody. It's okay not to agree with everything with somebody that you care about. The problem becomes toxic is when you're wishing ill on them when they're not wishing ill on you, or you are harming people unjustifiably to where they have not harmed you. If you or if you're doing things not out of defense, but you're doing things out of malice, that is where the toxicity comes in. So never let anyone tell you that it's okay to dislike something or someone. We all have our likes and dislikes, as above, so below. The Creator itself has its likes and dislikes. There's a flip side and a dark side to everything. So it's okay to dislike somebody. It's what we do with it that makes it toxic. So I'm going to go ahead and end. If anyone doesn't have any more questions or comments, we can take this over into the comments box. This was just a quick video I had to get out and express to you all. I want to hear your input about, people that you've dealt with, maybe a coworker, a best friend, a lover, and how it has panned out in your soul contract or in your soul experience. What did you learn from your enemy? What is the greatest lesson that you've learned from a betrayal, someone that you used to love that stabbed you in your back? I want to hear it, okay? Well, peace and bliss. I'm going to close out now. We've taken this video to 18 minutes. Thank you for sharing. Ashe, Keisha. Thank you, my darling. Mwah. Yes, so let's take it to the comments box. Let's continue this conversation about soul level beef and understanding the difference between an enemy and somebody that just doesn't like you. All right, darlings. All right, y'all have a good evening. Bye.